Okay, welcome to episode 2 of It's Never Coming Home. Tonight, as we are so close to Valentine's Day, we're going to be talking about our favourite football pairings, i.e. strike partnerships, or a couple of bricks at the back. We also have a personal section each where we will pick a topic we would like to discuss, and of course, we will finish with that question of the week. I'm Steve Hawkes, a lifelong Aston Villa fan, wanting to know how much Jesse Lingard has paid Emi Martinez to throw his average shots into the net at West Ham a couple of weeks ago. I'm joined as always by Lee Townsend, a Swindon fan who unfortunately has still not worked out the difference between Emmanuel Aboué and Etienne Capoue.
Hold my hands up. Yeah.
And Scott Frisbee, a massive Arsenal fan who still believes that Lacazette is the future of Arsenal and a future Ballon d'Or winner. As always, he's wrong.
Oh, no. Go on.
So we're going to start with a recap over the past couple of weeks. There's some comments on our first episode, kind of some comments that people have given us. Let's start off with our friend Stu McKay, who lifelong Manchester City fan, who basically told me I was an idiot for not putting Aguero, company De Bruyne, in the all-time Premier League team of the year. Can we discuss that, boys?
I think. Do you know what? Like, when it comes to company, he may have a point that he wasn't in the discussion. Does he have a point that he wasn't put in? No. I mean, still going. Aguero's still going. That maybe deserve to be in the conversation. The three of them, not so much maybe going in. I don't know how you two feel.
There, as I said to him at the time when he made this audacious comment, who are we taking out? Yeah, I mean, of course, his first comment was, "We'll get rid of Rooney. He's Man United." You know?
Right. Okay. Wow. Good argument.
But yeah, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, and when I've had a lot of people say, "Oh, you should have put this person in," do you not think they scored more goals? As we tried to stay on the night, this is a all-time Premier League 11, in our opinion. Yeah. You know, it's very different. It's very different. There are a lot of people who said, "Well, this player is in every team of the year. This player is." I couldn't care less. This is what we, as a three, decided was our favourite team of the year.
Yeah, even here, we're not happy with it. Ivanovic got in. I'm still fuming. It's been 2 weeks.
Still fuming.
I mean,
I found out he's playing for West Brom since. Like, do you know what
I mean? I mean, if nothing else, the fact I got him in the team is a testament to selling sand to the Arabs.
Sand to the Arabs. Somehow got him.
I had a couple of sell sand to anybody, not just Arabs, of course.
Yeah. See, I wouldn't put company in there. Maybe Aguero.
Over who? Henri. Yeah, sorted.
Yeah.
No, it's
that would be the only person I would probably stick in there.
It's a conversation, isn't it? That's what makes this so inviting to do. It's a good conversation to have, and it's an enjoyable one. But it doesn't mean that our 11. That's it. You can't have another 11 from anyone ever again. Absolutely not. I mean, I did have some ridiculous suggestions like Tony Yeboah. I'm like, someone said Ibrahimovic. I'm like, Premier League 11. You know,
how long did he play in the Premier League? 2 years?
2 minutes? I don't know. It was just yeah. You know, it's just not for Premier League wise. No, he doesn't go in. Cantona, yeah, brilliant. But does he go in over Rooney and Henri? No, not for us.
No.
But no, obviously this is why we encourage comments on the comment section and things like that, because it's a good conversation to have, and that's where
everyone was telling me that Lacazette should be in there, and yes, I agree. But
when you say everyone, do you mean you?
Could I have a signed petition?
Yeah.
Could you get a signed petition, please, with a number of people saying that Lacazette should even be in the Arsenal team?
There are way too many signatures.
None of them are fans.
It would take us about 3 hours just to show all of the signatures.
To be fair, save the trees. Don't do that.
So I guess let's push into football that's happened over the past couple of weeks. For me, obviously, the shining light was Aston Villa's 1-0 win against Arsenal. Any comments on that, Scott? Do you want to have what your thoughts on Ollie Watkins scoring his 11th goal of the season?
You don't want to
he's lucky,
anything.
wasn't he? Lucky. Bounced off of Gabriel, went in. But you have to admit, Saka was on, and he should have got sent off. Not Saka, whoever the player was, I can't remember now. It's too long ago.
There was Saka, wasn't it? And Saka and Konza, wasn't it? The thing is I don't. The more I watch it, the more I convince myself that I'm right. Because actually, right, although there has been a coming together, if anything, if you watch it in slow-mo, Saka's caught Konza before Konza's caught Saka.
Let's not start that again. Let's not start that. I've had enough over the last 2 weeks of players catching the other player.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can all agree, and obviously we'll go into it a bit further in detail.
Yeah, we'll go into it, yeah.
VAR is hilarious. When it's not against your team, VAR is hilarious.
Yeah.
When it's against your team, it's pull up the telly, throw it out the window shit, you know?
Yes, definitely.
But, yeah. I mean, for me, that game, there was only tarnished bias then going to Brighton and having a drub 0-0. I mean, you might say that Brighton are actually playing really well at the moment. They're in to come away with a point. There is a good result, and it probably is they're in the scheme of a season. But it's just for me watching Villa 1 week play like they're a top 8 team and the next play like a bottom half team. It's very, very frustrating. But then you know what that's like as an Arsenal fan.
Yeah, I couldn't. 100%. 100%. Well, we lost 2 games on the bounce, and then we went yesterday to Leeds and beat them. No, they came to us and we beat them 4-2.
I think the story for me, actually, Steve, if you look at the grand scheme of things, so it's been 2 weeks since we recorded. 2 days after we recorded was as you mentioned at the start, Jesse Lingard shooting through. You mean Martinez? Really should have had probably all of them. And then he's mentioned that in training he had repeated shots at the same angles, and since then he's had 2 more clean sheets. Mm-hmm. That's the story for me at the moment. Not just beating Arsenal.
Amazing.
But, what a keeper.
Isn't
that right, Scott?
Yeah. Hell of a keeper. I didn't want him to go. I was gutted, but he's definitely, I would say, the buy of the season so far.
Well, yeah. I mean, the reason we took a point at Brighton was because he saved a couple of absolute, unnatural saves, I call them. The kind of saves where you're going, how has he got to that?
Yeah.
You know? And then, I mean, the 2 goals that Jesse Lingard scored, he's basically thrown them in the net. And he came out on Twitter the day after and said, look, I've watched these goals back. I should have stopped them. I'm doing all this extra training. That's what you want from a player. This thing is people will make mistakes. But if they come out and say, you know what, I fucked that up, but I'm putting this in. And you can see the work he's put in. He's now got 12 clean sheets. Yeah, I mean, 12 clean sheets.
It's not far off.
Well, the only team that have got more is old Man City with, I think it's 14. So, I mean, they're not... Yeah. I mean, of course, they obviously have got the best defender in the world, John Stones. So yeah. But yeah, I can't disagree with you. I think his performances have been a massive boost, and for a defensive partnership, having someone behind you that you know is going to be that confident when the ball comes at you, to the confidence that must give. Also, a lot of people don't talk about his distribution. Like there was a stat I saw that 13 of the goals that Aston Villa have scored this season have come from the goalkeeper, which is a massive stat. Massive. So yeah, thank you, Arsenal.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You're welcome for your terrible negotiation skills. When so we've got him for peanuts, and B, the fact you've let him go and you've kept old but Lamo in goal because he's fucking shit. He is fucking shit.
I don't reckon he's shit. He's a good goalkeeper, but I wanted Martinez over him. I thought Martinez, he's earned his right to play. But then you have Leno, who runs out of an area touching the ball with his hand.
I forgot about that.
So,
I mean, the biggest problem is you paid a lot of money for Leno. He was the one that you brought in as the replacement for. It was the last guy that was any good.
David Seaman.
David Seaman.
Yeah.
That's debatable as well.
He was there to replace Czech when he
wasn't
decent.
Of course, team of the year, Peter Cech.
Yes. Oh, I actually owe Alison Lipsey an apology because it was Mason Lipsey, Swindon something or another. I'm owing another apology now. Let's go past Peter Cech. Yeah, apologies. Moving on. Facts
are always strong on this podcast.
Always, constantly.
Yeah. Darren, yeah. So I think it's a weird season. I mean,
very weird.
There is a Villa fan. I mean, we're 8th after 24 games. If you'd have asked me at the start to predict where we would be this far, I would be saying we'd be lucky to be in the top half. You know, that would be a dream.
Yeah.
Obviously, of course, I'll joke and say, well, let's get our Champions League tickets, you know. But Derek, in reality, I think anything... Well, of course. If we can finish in the top half of the season, that is a massive testament to the management and the kind of the players. But we've got a long way to go. You know, it's... I've just watched West Ham beat Sheffield United to go into a Champions League spot. Do I think they're going to be there at the end? No.
No.
But they're playing well.
But you never know, do you? You never know.
It's a funny old season. The big boys
have happened.
Yeah.
The big boys just aren't doing it at the moment.
Look at Liverpool's decline. Look at the way they're going. Just because they're missing out on on their best player, really, on their defender.
Yeah.
Virgil.
Can I just say it's very nice to hear you talk about your team in this fashion, Steve. Since we recorded, Swindon have sold their best player, another player, and not had a shot on target. So I'm very pleased that someone's happy watching football at the moment. It's certainly not us.
Just again, the same as I did last week, I'd like to welcome anybody who is willing to talk to Lee about his woes as a Swindon fan. Anybody that's going through the same kind of struggles, please do get in contact with Lee. Because we don't want to hear about it.
Yeah, couldn't give a shit.
Cheers, guys. Really appreciate it.
We've got enough going on. Not being funny, but
we have got enough going on. Yeah.
Swindon's supposed to be the escape. It makes it worse.
Yeah. Do you know what? In fairness, I can see Villa finishing for Europa.
Yeah, I mean the problem. Our biggest problem is we've got 11, 12 players, and we've used the 7, 11, 12 players for all 23 games. The rotation has been very, very slim because the fringe players just aren't the same quality.
Yeah, this is
but it's one of those things where obviously they're playing. Yeah, I mean, so we've brought in Morgan Sanson there to play in the middle of the park. I think we needed to bring another striker in. Because as much as I love Ollie Watkins, there are to play every single game. I mean, if he picks up an injury, we've got nothing at the moment. Obviously, Big Wesley, to the saying, isn't going to be back until to the start of next season at the earliest. So, I mean, when you look at Josh King, who's gone to West Ham, Everton, when you go, did we not think about picking him up? Did we not think that he'd be a good person to bring in? You know, yeah, of course. I mean, we're not a London club, are we? We're always against that these London clubs or these kind of the kind of the Merseyside clubs are up there. They're always going to have a bigger draw than to
definitely
to the Midlands. Absolutely. So you are.
Then you got. Can we quickly just talk about Tottenham's demise? Or
I thought you'd never ask.
Go on.
Having watched the Spurs game the weekend with a Spurs fan, I would like to say that it was brilliant, and I absolutely loved. I mean, I think the biggest one with Spurs is they're just not very good.
No. Their front three, though, I think their front three can destroy teams.
That's not
it's just the rest
Bale,
of it,
though, surely. Bale's just not at that level at all.
No, but he needs to.
I mean, to be fair, when Bale came on, this is the thing. When Bale came on, he looked lively.
Yeah,
but you're absolutely right. I mean, it is the same with the kind of the Dele Alli thing. I don't understand. If I'm the Spurs manager, when people are saying, "Why aren't you playing this player?" Right? If they're sitting on the bench, I've got nothing to say. I can't say they're not performing because you just go, well, how do you know they haven't played?
Exactly.
How
many minutes has Gareth Bale played?
This is it. Throw him in.
Yeah.
Throw him in.
Yeah.
It isn't as if anybody else on that pitch Durham is playing particularly well. So he's got nothing to lose, because if he doesn't play well, the problem's back at Gareth Bale's door. It's not at Mourinho's door. I don't understand it when managers do this.
I don't know. With some of his starts, one of them I've seen, it's almost like he walked through it. It's not the Gareth Bale we know and love by an absolute mile, and he's.
But that's fine though. If he's going to walk through it, people are looking at him and saying, "You're the problem."
Yeah.
Right? If he's sat on the bench, everyone's going, well, Mourinho hasn't given him a chance. Yeah. The same as we are here, we're saying he hasn't had enough game time.
It's just like Real, no game time. He's come here, getting no game time. He don't care, does he? He's going to sit there and go, well, if you're not going to play me, I'm still going to take my check at the end of the week.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll just do what I want. Then you play him. The only way to get the best out of a player is to play him.
Unfortunately, it's going the Ozil way in terms of it will get to a stage where it will get a bit nasty, because actually it gets to the stage of where I mean, we don't know what's happening. So we don't know what's going on in the background. We don't know what's been said or what's happening. But there are, for me, a player that does his talking on the pitch. If he's not being given the chance to play, that's the manager's fault.
Yeah, it's pointless, isn't it?
Difference is with Ozil, of course, they can hand Bale back in the summer, which that'll be funny. Looks exactly like what's going to happen. Why would they keep him at this stage?
But the same, but regardless of him being at Spurs, the same with him at Real. You know, it's all right to sit here and say, well, he's not the player he was, but until they stopped playing him, he was still one of their best players. They stopped playing him, and now they're saying he's not their best player. Of course he isn't. He's not on the pitch, and it isn't as if Madrid are really flying this season either.
No,
not quite. They've got their own issues.
No.
I mean, it all doesn't make sense. There's got to be a bigger story somewhere for it to make any sense. For him to come to Spurs tells me he wants to play football.
Oh yeah, definitely. He even said that in an interview, didn't he? But he's not given him a chance. But then there's a similarity. There's a major similarity between Zinedine Zidane and Jose Mourinho. Stubbornness.
Yeah, it's tough, isn't it? Because they're not sure, not really sure.
A lot of Spurs fans don't think that Mourinho can take him forward, but like any manager, I think you don't want to go down Chelsea route where you just throw a load of cash at them, let them have a couple of seasons, and go right. You've not, give them 3-4 seasons, and then go, all right, you haven't made it. Out the door.
I mean, I think the problem is that if you are going to bring Mourinho in, you've got to throw cash at him, because then Mourinho is not good. Mourinho's not going to bring a youth squad on.
Oh, definitely.
Mourinho is not. Mourinho's reached a stage in his career where he goes in. He says, "Right, if you can get me this player, this player, and this player, I'll win you things."
Yeah.
But Mourinho hasn't had that at Spurs. Everywhere else he's gone, he's been able to spend 150, 200 million, and he's won a trophy, right? Like, unfortunately, bringing in Matt Doherty, who's an okay player.
Oh, he's good. I like Matt Doherty. I'll defend him.
Yeah,
I know you're saying
but he's not going to win you.
Hoiberg
Yeah,
is
he's
a
not
good
gonna
player
win
as
you
well. I think the Mourinho signings have been okay. I don't think they're.
Townie, let me stop you there.
Go on.
At Man United, who did he bring in? They were at Man United in the first couple of years.
Pogba and Lukaku.
Pogba, Lukaku, Ibrahimovic.
Ibrahimovic, yeah.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
Now, who has he brought in at Spurs? Doherty, Hoiberg, Gareth Bale on loan.
Hoiberg, he's decent.
Yeah, he is. But is he good enough there to take that team into a top 4, top 2? No, is the answer.
But then you say that Man United only won the Europa, didn't they?
Yeah, but Derek, you're a Spurs fan.
Yeah,
if someone offered,
they got the Audi Cup, didn't they? So
they're not being funny.
Yeah, League Cup. Yeah.
They're not being funny. If you offered Spurs a Europa League, right, they would bite your hand off.
They would, yeah, they would.
They are unfortunately fallen into the same trap that Arsenal did, but they didn't win anything before it. You know, the same that they bought this stadium. We've all been there. It's a fucking airport. It's horrible. We've all been there.
Yeah.
Horrible place. It's no.
I tell you what. Wow.
The new white.
Come on.
Yeah. I mean, the new white Hart Lane is like an airport. I didn't enjoy it. If it doesn't feel like a football stadium, it feels like an events arena.
In fairness, when we will go walking out to get a drink, right, just before I done that with Dave's drink, right, it felt like we were in an airport.
Yeah, it does.
Escalators, pillars. Obviously, thousands of people.
I'll tell you one thing I didn't like about that stadium. They ran out of water. How do you run out of water?
Yeah.
It was such a muggy day as well. It was the height of summer because
it was
pre-season. How do you run out of water? That's
the first time we saw Tanguy, wasn't it?
Tanguy and Ndombele, they just signed him. Yeah, so would that have been Pochettino's last signing? But going back to the Mourinho signings, they're solid, aren't they? They're not light up the world signings. I don't think any of them are really meant to be. They're fullbacks, a centre midfielder, and a really hard-working centre midfielder at that. Bale obviously hasn't quite worked, and I can appreciate that.
Hasn't played.
No, but when you get
hasn't worked.
But when you
say that.
Yeah, but when he starts and doesn't do anything, you can't be surprised he doesn't start the next game. So
they're at the end of the day, every other player on that Spurs pitch hasn't done anything, but they get picked the next game. So I don't really understand.
No, I mean Bale played against Marine. He didn't do anything. How can you do anything against Marine? But that's not my point here. The point is up front you've got Son and you've got Kane, who have been another level this season. Okay,
I can't disagree with that. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of Harry Kane, but he has been unplayable at times.
Tony loves him.
I do. No, this season he has been. For some reason, he's turned into the new Christian Eriksen. I don't think anyone asked that. But no, they have been incredible up front. So, you know, Mora, maybe not as good as he previously has been, but he's in that mix as well. So, if you're trying to think, maybe Mourinho should have bought someone to really light up the place, is that really going to be ahead of Son and Kane? What if that is a signing? Which one of the three signings would you have not have brought in? So I can understand this. He solidified that back, probably not brilliantly as much as he'd have liked, but you know, Danny Rose is still on the books. Dele Alli is still on the books. Yeah. Players is just not.
But they're not being funny. Did they got rid of Vertonghen? Right.
Yeah. Vertonghen was out of contract.
Right.
Yeah. He's pretty old though, for a player.
Right. You're looking at Alderweireld now. It's probably Durham. He signed a 1-year extension. Right. Durham, who are they? For Spurs to move forward for me, they need to sign 2 world-class centre backs.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah.
Because at the moment they're shipping goals for a laugh.
Yeah. They got in defence, Davison Sanchez and Alderweireld.
And obviously they, for 50% of the games, they're playing Eric Dyer in defence.
Who gave a penalty away doing breakdancing the other week, didn't he? He was just... What
Well, he just
is he
basically,
doing?
yeah.
Spinning
I mean,
on his head, flying his legs around.
I'll be honest with you. I don't think Eric Dyer. He's an absolute myth to me. How he became this England kind of legend after this tournament because he scored that one penalty, right?
Yeah.
He's not good enough, and if Southgate, the talent we've got to go in that kind of holding midfield or in defence, if he goes out and puts old Eric Dyer in this England squad this summer, I'm done with Southgate because
I'm already done with Southgate.
I mean the guy is.
I don't.
But anyway,
managers love him for some reason though, because Mourinho's a massive fan of his, and he was fantastic.
Why?
But
he can speak Portuguese. That's why. He's fluent Portuguese, isn't he?
But what benefit is that to Gareth Southgate? He must love Fernando's.
That's brilliant.
He's got pictures of him in Portugal.
Oh dear. Anyway, to round up kind of this section, I've asked a friend of mine, Liverpool fan, please don't squint you two, to give us his thoughts on what Liverpool are going through at the moment.
Hey guys, thanks for asking for me to be on the pod and to give my views on what I think is going wrong with Liverpool at the moment. I think it's a combination of things that could attribute to our poor form in terms of results recently. You know, the main thing that's been over our heads and a lot of what the media have been talking about is the amount of injuries that we've sustained. There's always been a question of what would we be like defensively if Virgil van Dijk ever got a long-term injury. But considering that, I don't actually think we've been that bad defensively over the course of the season. Yes, we've had a couple of games where we've shipped a few goals that we shouldn't have done, but I don't think that's been the main reason why we've been in such poor form. The main thing I think is the creativity that both him and Joe Gomez would have brought to our play. Van Dijk would countless times throughout a match would spray the ball out wide, mainly to Salah, and then once he's done that, we move out the pitch a good 5-10 yards. So, and then Klopp's bread and butter, we press from the front and then win the ball back as quickly as we could. With Joe Gomez, he was always good at finding a pass into midfield and fizzing it in, and then a quick turn, and then we'd get on our way again. Same thing with moving up the pitch. So with the fact that Henderson, who is a big part of the pressing, gets moved into the back, and then Fabinho, who does great work in defensive midfield, moving him back, we're always going to lose that. And I think that's definitely attributed to why the front three don't really seem don't seem to be gelling as much in terms of this season. Salah, he's still scoring the goals. I mean, he's obviously first in terms of the goal scoring charts at the moment. So, but Sadio Mane, he's had a little bit of a drop off, and then you got Bobby Firmino, who there's always this joke about him being a defensive striker in inverted commas. I'm not going to sit here and say he's a prolific striker, because he's not. He should get more goals based on the positions he gets himself into and the amount of chances he has. But we are definitely a better team when he's on it. Unfortunately, it's been few and far between this season, and it's very noticeable if he's not playing well, because it definitely has an effect on the rest of the team, and obviously Mane and Salah as well. We've had the injury to Diogo Jota as well, who's been a revelation since he's come in, and he provided the competition for the front three, which I think gave them a little bit of kick up the backside. They definitely performed a little bit better, and if one of them was dropping off, then you could swap it around, and it would definitely help them. And then we've had Naby Keita, for example, who I really really like, and unfortunately he's made out of crisps. He gets injured every 5 minutes, so he's never really been able to push on into the team. So with that, and I guess just a combination of all the injuries that we've had, it's definitely not helped. And I think another big part of it is the lack of fans. Having no fans in Anfield, there's always the joke of the Anfield atmosphere is a myth, and it's nothing to do with it. But you can definitely tell the difference in terms of us playing at home and not having the fans there. They can drag us to a result which we didn't deserve, and we've had a few occasions this season where we've got a result where you think, okay, we haven't played that well, but most of the time these days, this season, if we haven't played well, we haven't got the result. Having said that, I mean, apart from we had the West Brom draw, the Newcastle draw, and the Burnley defeat, we haven't really played that badly recently. We played well against West Ham, won, played well against Spurs and won. We actually played well against Leicester up until we'd had a decision not necessarily go our way, and we just kind of collapsed from there. So I think it's just obviously everything's getting on top of us at the moment, and beforehand it has never affected us, but it's just starting to creep in that maybe things aren't going right, and we're feeling a little bit sorry for ourselves. There's that mental fatigue in there. It's talked about the amount of games that we're playing, but it's no different to everybody else. And I guess one of the big differences is that this team has been together for a long time. It's been together for over 3 seasons, and the Champions League final team against Real Madrid isn't too dissimilar to what the team we have now. So it's been a long time that they've been together. I guess the squad is aging a little bit. They're all sort of in their late 20s, the majority of the big game players, which could have an effect eventually. But we will see. I'm hoping, sort of fingers crossed, we will turn it around.
But in summary, yeah, Liverpool, if you took the last, I think it was 5-6 games, they would be 15th in the table right now. Sorry, the last 10 games. If you took the last 10 games, they'd be 15th in the table right now. They've scored 9 goals in those 10 games. And I don't think we can go any further from what on earth is going on with Alisson at the moment, because I genuinely can't believe what I'm seeing out of that bloke at the moment, especially one of the best keepers in the world.
I'll be honest with you, I don't think that mistake against Leicester was his fault. Because at the end of the day...
What is he doing coming out that far? I'm not being funny. When you play as a keeper, what is possessing him to think, I need to come out for that? He's miles out.
But that's what modern keeping is, though, isn't it? A sweeper keeper. They come out.
Also,
there was no player there, but...
Also, the thing is you've got to remember is that he's not playing with a settled back four, so it isn't as if if you've got a settled back four, that someone's going to clear someone, or what someone's going to do. Obviously, they put in that new centre back they bought from Schalke. Is it from Schalke they bought him?
Yeah, I can appreciate that the communication may not have been pinpoint, and I get that, but he still sees the guy, so I don't. But then understand. It's just a long diagonal ball. I can't remember the Leicester player that lumped it, but it's a long diagonal ball that should be easy to deal with, and somehow they just completely messed that up. And
effectively, the defender kicks it against Alisson, doesn't he? So the ones at City are just not concentrating. Poor distribution, which Alisson is renowned for having. Great distribution, but just poor. You can accept one game where you have a poor. I'm still sticking with. I don't think the Leicester one is his fault.
The thing is, Alisson was prone to making mistakes way before he got to Liverpool. Anyway,
he made a mistake as he got there, didn't he?
As he got there, when he played for Galatasaray, Roma.
That first season he played at Liverpool, I think the first goal they conceded that season was because he was trying to shield the ball and got tackled. So it's in his game.
It is in his game, yeah.
But not to this level of calamity, yeah.
Trouble is, like I say, he's got no one to back him up anymore. He's got no Virgil van Dijk.
Yeah, this is the thing
that held that team together.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is he's having to come out and do more because he hasn't got players in front of him who have got the confidence to just clear it. I hate Liverpool with a passion. Right, I'm not a fan of their football. There's not one Liverpool player that I actually like.
No,
but,
come on,
can't stand them.
But no, come on. There's no player you don't like at that club. You can't respect any of them. Is that what you're telling me?
Well, they play for Liverpool, so definitely not.
Yeah, no, I'm just not. Of all the teams,
that's like me saying Henry was a poor player. It doesn't.
Sorry.
Exactly. You don't say that.
But I'm not.
Look at stats.
But I'm not saying they're bad players. I said so. I don't like them as a team. I don't like any of them. I just don't think. I've just never enjoyed watching Liverpool as a team.
No. It's more to me, it's more their fan base.
The fans are
just... They don't stop rubbing it in your face.
Oh, God.
Right? And when they lose, they don't stop moaning. Shut up.
I mean, and that is strong from an Arsenal fan.
All he does on Twitter is
moan at Liverpool fans. But I've got a reason. All they would... they won one Premier League title in 30 years, and apparently they're the best. Do it again. which they clearly can't.
Oh, come on.
Everyone, you have to admit, Tony, this is the worst total defence for years. This is horrendous.
I don't think Leicester come anywhere near retaining. I will be honest.
Yeah, but they're not in it, are they? That was a freak accident, wasn't it?
Man United.
Well, not an accident.
Man United after Ferguson's title win were nowhere near. There's
well, what I will say is that this let's squash the they've got this player injured, this player injured.
Everyone has.
Right. Everybody has injuries. We've just had a transfer window. Liverpool is supposed to be one of the top 10 clubs in the world.
Yeah.
Go out and fucking spend some money and buy something.
But it's not like they haven't got enough.
They're not being funny, but they've gone out and they've bought somebody from, is it Preston? They bought someone from.
Yeah.
When they when they brought someone from Schalke, who are bottom of the Bundesliga. I mean, that doesn't. Why Liverpool fans aren't getting on the back of? Hang on, we're obviously having a problem here. We can clearly see what the problem is. We're playing Henderson at the back, which is taking him out of position, which is ruining those transitions. Put Henderson back in the middle of the park, right? And there were they could have gone and spent 50, 60 million on a Connor Cody, somebody who is a passionate defender who can defend,
commanding defender.
They're a statement signing that they've gone, right, this is who we're going to sign. You look at Ogbonna at West Ham, 50 million, go and sign him.
Is it really that easy though? Because one, I don't know how they're doing money wise. Personally, I have no idea, so I'm not going to say they have no money to spend. So,
well, let's put it this way, right? Let's talk about the money, right? If they haven't got any money, don't play players as much, because at the end of the day, if you can't afford to grow that team,
their rotation is not great. I will give you that. I think someone gave an example of Salah. I think he only had, after one summer, he was at a tournament with Egypt, and he come back 10 days later for the start of the Premier League, and Liverpool had him on the bench. Their rotation is just not well. But then
it isn't so much about that, because I think that by bringing Jota in theory, you've now got four. But you've got players that can play in those positions, right? They had an opportunity. They know that Van Dijk's going to be out for the rest of the season. Go and buy somebody decent, because Gomez. For me, Gomez is not the answer. Even when he comes back, get somebody alongside Van Dijk. Go and spend the money on somebody. You want to be this big club, Liverpool. Well, we've won the Champions League. We've won the league. Not being funny, right? Yes, you did great last season, right? Where are you now? You've had a couple of hiccups, and all of a sudden you've fallen apart.
I'm blaming it on the injuries.
The big teams, your big Man Uniteds and your Chelsea's, right? You never had Alex Ferguson going, well, we're not going to win the league this year because we've had one of our defenders out. No, we'd have gone out and fucking bought somebody.
I still don't think it's as simple as going out and buying someone. I really don't. Because you've got to think in the summer. Let's say, for example, they bought... And I kind of agree that they should have that Van Dijk-esque or that level of defender probably alongside Van Dijk, and that'd be a hell of a partnership. I understand that kind of mode of thinking. But you get to the summer when Van Dijk, Gomez and Matip are all back.
Yeah.
Then what do? Do you sell one of them?
Put Matip out on loan. Yeah, get Matip out on loan. He's not good enough either.
No, he's definitely not good enough. But then it's challenging for positions. That's what they need.
I know a club that would take Matip. Arsenal are crying out to put him up. Stick Matip up against Matip and David Luiz at the back.
We're doing all right in a minute. We're doing all right in a minute with defence. We're right.
We only conceded one pass, Villa, yeah.
Only one.
So we'll get on to Arsenal at another point, because I watched the Leeds game last night, and I've got a lot to talk about Arsenal. And
okay,
yes,
good.
Yeah,
let's stick to Liverpool for a while, because I'm quite interested.
No,
I mean, for me, I think Liverpool are that you can't go into a title defence and not spend money again. How many times did Alex Ferguson, did he win the league and in that summer spend another 30, 40 million, which in today's money is 100 million, you know?
Other teams have caught on to what they do as well. Just like when Leicester won the league, a year later, everyone had caught on to their game plan, and the same with Liverpool. But then for all Liverpool fans to be saying, "Oh, we've got injuries," all of us, every team does. We're in a pandemic. Everyone's playing every 2 to 3 days. You're gonna get injuries.
Yeah, if you've got
They've only got 11
flying
players.
at your leg, then yeah. But no, I've got to defend Liverpool on this one. Of course I do. But I think the thing is they're playing. They're playing well. They're playing good. They're not playing exceptional. Their press is not as hard at the front.
No, it isn't.
And when the press isn't as hard, that high line doesn't really work either. And I think that's why Aston Villa lobbed 7 past them. Pay me later, Steve. But that line's still so
how
high.
many?
But then you say that, but what I would say, right, is that so what you've got to remember is that when we played them, Alisson was in the team, Van Dijk was in the team. This was before they had any of their injuries, right? Something's not quite right. Right, to the way Liverpool play, it's all about the transition, here to here to here. Jordan Henderson is key to making that transition move. They've taken Jordan Henderson out of that position, and they've put in Thiago, who can't believe what the fuck he signed up for. He's like, I've been sat at Bayern just pinging balls, and now you want me to run about? You're having a laugh, aren't you? Like, basically, you've signed Iniesta, and you want him to become Jordan Henderson.
Shouldn't be too hard.
It ain't happening. He is not going to run box to box for you. That is not Thiago's game. It never was, right? Round peg, square hole. There, unfortunately. But you playing with Henderson, there are potentially you've got that to that ability for him to sit and hold. But you've got Jordan Henderson playing at centre back. You know, it just doesn't work for me. For me, I just think Liverpool should just write the whole season off and go, do you know what, forget it. They're going to have to spend money.
I think they already have.
Yeah.
They are going to have to spend 100 million. Do they need another centre back? And I think one of those front three's got to go and they've got to bring someone else in. There's loads of talk about Mbappe, right? Yeah, I mean, it's a joke, right? It's a joke because at the end of the day, he's probably going to cost 250 million, right? But if you could sell Mane for 150 million, which you probably could, I mean, you look at the players they've got, those front three are not playing as they did last season. Saying that, Salah scored the same amount of goals already that he scored last season. What do you do?
He's still playing well. I think a lot of people, like Bot said, they look at Firmino and say he should score more.
That's not his job. That's not his job.
As you say, it's not really his job. So, you know, where do you do? But you're right. Liverpool do need to freshen up, and they need to go again next season. And as Bot said, they're probably aiming for top 4 now. That's probably where they are. Are they going to be happy with that? Probably not. But given the circumstances, that's probably what they've got to just take at the moment. You know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm just looking at the injury list table, and in fairness, Liverpool have got 10 players that are injured, right?
Right, Frank. So who are these players? I don't know.
It just shows a table, but then behind that, the closest behind that would be Burnley with 7. Villa have got 3. Arsenal have got 3. Chelsea have got 3. Manchester United have got 2. Man City 4, and Tottenham are shit. So, sorry, I mean Tottenham have got 3.
Tottenham have got their full squad. It just turns out Spurs are shit.
Diego Jota, Naby Keita, Matip, Gomez, Fabio Taraves, I don't know how to say his name, Origi, Ben Davis. He's already injured. Bloody hell. James Milner, Virgil van Dijk.
But how many of those players are long term?
That's not what we're talking about here. How long term they are. We're talking about now.
Jota is a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, he's a couple of weeks. It's been a couple of weeks. He's going to be back. Are they still going to be saying, "Well,
Naby Keita isn't injured anymore. He's just not fit."
Poor management. Poor management.
He's made a crazy.
Yeah, but you know what this is down to? It is down to we're all in a situation where no one has ever been before. Premier League teams are playing 2 to 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous. But then also, most of us work to 9 till 5 and we don't get injured or complain. Do you know what I mean?
Brilliant.
But then if I was working 9 till 5 running the wing at work, you know,
you'd be all right at it. I've seen it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be fine, but
yeah. Then you've got, but obviously the biggest one is Virgil van Dijk. But I think they knew for a while that he was going to be out even before the January transfer window. So they should have jumped on that and gone, right, we need someone even temporary to replace that person. Because you look at teams, Arsenal Arsenal knew they couldn't buy a attacker midfielder, so they got one on loan.
The other side.
Sorry,
of that
and who
as
is it that they've signed?
Odegaard.
No, never heard of him. Did he play the other night? Did he play the other night? Yeah. I didn't see him.
You weren't watching the game then.
No, I wasn't. Derry just did nothing.
No, but my point is, if you're lucky, we got rid of Mesut Ozil, who was our only attacking midfielder. So what we did, obviously, I'm not saying it's a good decision or a bad decision, but we still were proactive enough to go, right.
That's what you got to do.
Yeah, you've got to be proactive. You can't just sit there and go, well, let's hope for the best.
Darren, you can't tell me that there aren't enough players around the world that would jump at the chance to come to Liverpool.
All of them would.
The other side of that as well, you got to look at. Everyone knows Liverpool's after a centre half, so I don't know if you're like, say you've got a Bonner, and Liverpool go, excuse me, we're interested. You go, yeah, right, 100 million. Like, you what? Yeah, 100 million. I know you need
but
it.
They're not struggling.
Like, right, we'll see you later then. Yeah, but that doesn't. Yeah, but then
they're not being funny. But did Alex Ferguson ever go, I'm not buying him. He's too much money. No, he went, I'm having that player. David Gill, go and get it sorted. I don't care what it costs. I want that player.
And you know what they do now? They speak with the player, and then the player goes on strike to force a move. Or the player does some player's agent does something, or they leak something. There is always a way to force a move.
Yeah, but of course there is.
Doesn't always
and to make sure
out.
That move. It doesn't always work out. I'll give you that. It doesn't always work out, but there is still. How many defenders are there?
How many signings did Arsene Wenger say we could have had them?
At least 130.
It's like a who's who. Like, we were going to buy Ronaldo. We were going to buy Cristiano Ronaldo. Yeah, of course you were. Why didn't you? Like,
difference is though, Wenger ran everything. He was tight as arseholes.
Yeah, spent money like it was his own, and saved it for a house.
Okay, guys. So as I mentioned at the start, because we are a Valentine's weekend. We are going to be looking at our favourite football pairing. So it can be rather a strike partnership or a defensive partnership that you liked, or just two players that you fancy. It's completely up to you. That was obviously more aimed at you, Tony. So
sexually.
Well, to be fair,
believe it or not, don't believe it or not, girls, Tony is single. So if you are interested. Which you aren't. I have to start that fucking bit again now.
I wasn't expecting it.
No, I wasn't either. It came out of nowhere. So, Townie, I'm going to guess that yours is going to be a partnership very close to your heart.
Well,
Sam Parkin and
Tommy Mooney.
Tommy Mooney, yeah.
I'd love to, but Rory Fallon was like the kind of like the third wheel in that one. But no,
never heard of him.
Your loss.
Who?
I mean, in light of recent events, it's got to be Mike Dean and his red card. They're just inseparable.
Hey, it's not Mike Dean's fault. He follows the rules. He didn't make the rule. He didn't make the rules, did he?
It's funny.
He just followed them.
Mike Dean. It is Mike Dean, so he probably has.
Yeah, true.
No, when you talk about partnerships in football, and the history that I kind of have and who I followed over the years and stuff like that, it's got to be Andy Cole and Dwight York for me. I'll rank that over kind of any football partnership that's happened. They don't really happen anymore, football partnerships up front. You know, they'll have that attacking midfielder and a striker, and you just don't have the connection that the two strikers can have up front. I mean, yeah, there's probably some examples out there. Someone will probably throw something at us, but what I love about Dwight York and Andy Cole, Dwight York was bought in that summer after Arsenal did the double, that painful season. Scott,
which one?
Which one? And it's almost like there was no real plan for who he was going to play with, so he started up front with Solskjaer, and it didn't quite work. It was okay, and I remember Bayern Munich away, they had Teddy Sheringham and Dwight York, and again didn't quite work. But as soon as Cole and York connected, that was it. They were terrorising defences over Europe and all sorts. The goal that sticks out in my mind was at the new camp. They just 1-2'd it twice. Keeper. It was just phenomenal, and I will argue to the death if this is some form of competition between who's going to have the correct partnership here. I will fight this one to the death. It's Andy Cole and Dwight York for me.
Okay, well, to start with, you're wrong. I think, again, it's a personal thing. So when I was looking at my partnerships, I did a bit of research and kind of, because I don't think it's all about goals, but I think obviously there are partnerships that scores goals is obviously that's what makes it a successful partnership a lot of the time. So I think that is important. And also we're talking about kind of having a strike partnership. One of the things that jumped out to me is that Drogba and Lampard actually have the highest combined goals of any pairing throughout the Premier League era. They combined 36 goals, which is absolutely crazy when you think about it. Actually, they've assisted each other on that many goals, until you hear that with 32 goals at the moment, Kane and Son are only just behind them. So actually, yeah, it's impressive, but it just makes Son and Darren Kane look even more impressive. However, I haven't picked any of those. I've gone for Alan Shearer and Chris Sutton, the Blackburn dynamic duo.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yes, yeah.
The original SAS. None of this Liverpool shit. But yeah. In the season that Blackburn won the league, they scored 49 goals between them in the league. I mean,
just the league.
Just in the league, yeah. I mean, it's crazy to think. I mean, you just don't see those kind of numbers anymore. Well, I know the game's different, and I know that it's different, but you've got to remember that Blackburn were not a big team at that time. They had some big players, but in terms of for a team like Blackburn, they're essentially, those goals won them that league.
I was going to say, in counter that, Cole and York was 53, but that was all competitions. Obviously, they had obviously they won the FA Cup, they won the Champions League, so they had runs in those as well. So, but was it 47 just in the league? Yeah,
49 in just the league. Yeah. And I mean, the brilliance of that is that actually they brought certainly for peanuts, really. I mean, they'd spent at the time they'd spent good money on Alan Shearer, and he'd done well the season before. I think he scored like 21, 22 goals, but he hadn't kind of hit the masses heights. So they hadn't been. I think they came second the season before, and it's the perfect example of a team needed something more to get to that next level. And old Kenny Dalglish went out and got somebody out and won the league. For me, in terms of the goals they scored them together, and in terms of the overall, they led that team to the league. There is no doubt about it. And you can say that they went on to. You can't really say that Shearer topped that after that season. For me, he made the wrong choices. Went to Newcastle, which I think for his career was the wrong choice. Is it with Newcastle boys to understand why he did that? But in terms of his career, we can all sit here and say that it is, if he'd have looked at if he'd have gone to Man United, he'd have won all sorts.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and I'm sure there's got to be something deep down that he goes, what if I'd have done that, you know? But then obviously was Sutton went on to Celtic to have you can say an illustrious career, but it's in Scotland. So is it an illustrious career?
To be fair, my main memory is when he went to Chelsea after that. Oh, it was not good. Not good.
But it just shows how that partnership was so important to both of them. Because I know Shearer, because I know that Shearer scored goals, but on the level that they were at Blackburn, not even close. So for me, they are my Valentine's pairing. Scotty boy, what about you?
Wow.
As if we have to ask.
Now, my
Lee Dixon and Nigel Winterburn.
Right, listen to this, right? Now, you're going to think I'm going to pick Lacazette in the Ballon d'Or, but we'll wait for that, right? That's the perfect... Wait for it. That's in the future. I'll be saying that in a couple of years' time, right? Now, you think I'll go... Yeah, because he would have won 3 or 4 by then. In 2 years, he would have won 3 or 4. But no, obviously, it's more than likely that I would have went for Henry and Perez. But I thought outside the box. I know, I knew you would bring that up.
I was going to say, because when they're inside the box, they take naff penalties and their legs come down. And,
yeah. They didn't need penalties, though, to rack up their scoring, did they? But obviously, they did score in 2002-2003 when we just missed out on the Premier League. They scored 37 goals between them. So Henry was 24, and then the remainder was Perez. Now, you would have thought I'd go for that, but I'm going to go with Arsenal and the FA Cup. I thought outside the box. Yeah. I thought outside the box. 14 FA Cups. 14. Right? 14 FA Cups. You can't say more than that, can you? You know what I mean?
Arsene Wenger's special mate.
Exactly.
The FA Cup.
The FA Cup. Now, there's not much more of a love match than that, is there? FA Cup, Arsenal. They go hand in hand, you know. But then I think a good shouter is Hasselbank and Goodjohnson as well.
Yeah. I mean,
they were a good partnership.
How many goals they score?
No. I think it was 38. I believe it was 38. It was more than Henry and Perez.
But is that goals that they scored
in the league
together, or is that
yeah, together? Yeah, it was together, obviously. Yeah. But yeah, my you know, if I am being serious when I say the FA Cup and Arsenal. 14. No other team's done it. It's, you know, and we're going to keep going. Well, not this season, but we're going to keep going on and winning it.
I mean, this is the thing: is you can't deny that for 10 years they've done nothing but focus on it. I mean, they haven't focused on transfers.
They're like,
haven't focused on the league.
Entertaining.
You know,
I don't know.
They've even
come on.
They've even gone. We don't need to. They've even gone now. Do you know what, guys? We don't need to finish in the top 4 to win the FA Cup.
Exactly. How do you think we got in the Europa?
Every year.
FA Cup.
Every year.
Do you know what I mean? So yeah, obviously this year we're not in it, but I would say it is the FA Cup for me. Many good memories.
Wow.
So that's going to be mine. Obviously a close second is going to be Henry and Perez. Besides the penalty that Tony keeps wanting to mention.
Oh, it's funny. It's funny.
Yeah,
I don't really know where to go from that, to be honest.
No.
Right, well, now you've heard all 3 of our entries, please put in the comments what your own choices would be, and we can obviously discuss that next week. As we now push on to our question of the week, and this week it's going to be from our very own Swindon fan, Lee Townsend. Take it away.
Indeed. Right, gentlemen. So the whole idea of this section is we have a trivia question at the end of every episode. A point will go to those who get the correct answer. There'll be multiple choice answers also. And at the end of the year or the end of the season, whichever we decide when we get a bit fed up with it, we'll we'll decide a winner from that point there. So we were talking about Andy Cole and Dwight York earlier on in this episode. They obviously went on for about 2 or 3 seasons at Manchester United, both left for Blackburn and then reunited there in blissful love. But can you tell me the other club that both of those two played together for? And that is together. I'll give you Portsmouth, Sunderland, Birmingham, or Fulham.
Yes, I know the answer.
I don't.
It's Sunderland.
Correct answer is Sunderland. Yes, they both played under Roy Keane. So well done, Stevie boy. Just additionally, could you tell me the other club those two went on to play for, but not together?
Portsmouth.
After Sunderland.
After Blackburn.
After Blackburn was Sunderland.
No, they both went to play for Birmingham after Blackburn, but they were a few years apart, so they unfortunately didn't unite there. But thankfully, we didn't need that bonus question because Scott didn't have a clue. So
I wouldn't have said Katie Price, in fairness, but
I wouldn't have said that disgusting word even if I knew the answer anyway. So
it's not worth the point. It's not worth the point.
Not worth it. I'll take that.
Well, I mean, I was going to say I was going to bring it when Scott was talking about the FA Cup that didn't a certain team beat them during the FA Cup, but I won't even.
I think that was a League Cup final anyway, so don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Good old Koscielny,
they lost.
bottling it. Yeah. I remember that one well.
Don't sound like Arsenal.
So, guys, thanks again. We will obviously be back with another episode in a couple of weeks. Again, if you've got any comments or any questions for us, we may even put in a section where we have a question from the public. So if you've got any questions for us, please do put it in the comments and we will add you in. Once again, thank you for listening and we will see you again soon. Peace out.
See you soon. Like and subscribe.